From Purple Cat's Quilting. Welcome to my sewing room today, where I'm on to the next step of my Tamarack jacket. I've made my quilt coat fronts and I've quilted them to the lining just on my domestic machine. So here's my jacket front. I made them all different. I like making everything different. I've got those flying geese from the Quilt Smart. I've got the On Point Quilting. So then I layered the piece that I made for the front. I layered it with batting and then backing. And then I just quilted some lines and some quilting on my machine. So I just did like along here. I did some lines, some vertical lines here. I mimicked the flying geese here. I put some wool in so my flying geese are really puffy. So that's the fronts. Now I just wanted to show you how I have the back layered. So there's my quilt, my jacket back, and see how I told you about cutting your lining a little bit bigger than the quilt piece and my batting, so that way I don't have to be exactly accurate and perfect. I can do it and then trim it down after. So now I've made my sandwich, I've pressed it out, I've got it nice and flat, I've pinned it around the outside. So now my first quilting, I'm just going to do some basic lines down the center of the jacket. If you quilt from the inside out, you won't get a bunch of extra fabric and bubbles and stuff like that. But again, it's a quilted jacket. I use my gloves because I find the fabric slippery and it just helps it feed through. I don't have a very big sewing machine. I've got the 570, which is about an 8-inch throat, I think. So I just roll it up here as I'm going if I need to, but it just slides through really nice. So I'm just adding some quilting dimension now to my quilted coat. I'm using purple thread on the purples. I did quilt my front seams with purple just to make it look interesting, add some visual interest to it. So I'm just manipulating my quilt top here, my jacket top, just like I would quilt anything else. It's not that big, it's not too cumbersome. If I find, I'm quilting away, sometimes I just take it over to the sewing machine or to the pressing station and I just press it flat again. It just helps it kind of grab onto that batting and just makes it easier to go again. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to quilt some texture into the back of my quilt because it is a quilted jacket. You could be as elaborate as you want. I'm probably going to do exactly the same as I did on the front and follow my patchwork, which adds a lot of visual interest. Because I've got that wool, the wool makes it really light. It makes it warm, but not hot. It makes it breathable. And wool gives a lot of dimension to your quilting projects, a lot of fluff. And again, when it's washed, I love my quilts and my quilted jackets after they're washed. They get more quilty. Right? It just adds more texture again. It's what we like about quilting. So you can see that it's very easy to manage, doable on a regular domestic machine. And now I'm just going to start doing, just quilting some texture, just quilting a 1/4 inch inside each of my seams on my squares here. If I work my way out to the outside, then any kind of little ridges and rolls will work their way out. You can pick it up, partway through, check the back, make sure that you don't have anything here. I usually do about every 2 or 3 when I'm starting, just to kind of stabilize my quilt sandwich. And then I can go in and fill in the detail pretty confidently that it's not going to move on me anymore. That's as easy as it is. So I'm going to finish my jacket back. I'm going to do my sleeves. I'm going to quilt them also. And then I will show you in the next video here and then in a little while how I put the jacket pieces together and put the binding on. It is just such a beautiful, simple pattern. It's not hard. Oh, I should show you my hood that I made. La la la. I told Mr. Katz not to show you the mess in my room, but I think that that's almost impossible. Creative minds are messy, right? There's my hood that I made. I also have a collar that I'm going to put together. So I just decided to use something simple on the outside, the polka dots. I've got the roses on the inside, and I put almost like a flange on the outside just for fun. Just to add some more color around the hood, which will match right here my jacket. So just adds a little bit of color and dimension. I love that rainbow, how it goes. It's going to kind of glow when I wear it, I think.
It looks so pretty.
You're not going to miss me in the supermarket aisle, that's for sure. So there you go. Have a great afternoon.